Okay, so now I've got a better spray. You want that, a nice fine mist. We're going to just hit this surface. Don't put too much on, just enough to get those colours to blend in nicely. Yeah, down there, I can see the figure in the wood. That's fine. Absolutely fine. And you know what, up to a point, because those cuts are more of a V cut, depending on how the light shines off the angle of the V cut with the colour, that changes the look as well. So, what we can do, on here, it should be dry. Just set fire to it. Yeah, that's dry now. Don't want that dust coming out the middle when I put the lacquer on. So, there we go. Now then, the lacquer, I'm using a Mohawk, it's a pre-catalysed lacquer, it's a nice lacquer, deft, gloss lacquer works exactly the same, good stuff. This is a pre-catalysed gloss lacquer. Give it a good shake, and then just be careful with your spraying, don't load it. If you load it, you're going to lose, you'll get puddled bits on the top and it looks awful. Just build it up slowly over a period of time. And watch the colour change when I put the lacquer on. It makes a massive difference. That really pops. Across the middle. Let's give that a minute. You can see where it stays wet is the long grain, and where it soaks in is the short grain, the end grain. Give that a minute, that should have soaked in now. Give it one more and then build it up to what you want it to be. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of coats on, let it dry, come back and put the chamfer on, put the black line. We're going to put a little bead here, I think a black bead, then hollow it out. I'll use the mate tool, it'll get me a perfect curve, and then I can sand it, finish it, and on this one I'm going to put in real gold. It looks totally different and it's worth it. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous colouring. Okay, so there we go. We've got all the lacquer on, several coats. Again, you can build that up to whatever you want. There's the ripple. There. Following through. You can see the ripple, that original ripple in the wood. That looks super cool. So, we need to do something with this edge and something in the middle. So, what I propose to do, I'm going to use a spindle gouge. I've got the tool rest set up at an angle. I'm going to close the flute and just make a cut across here, drawn it towards me, put a little chamfer on there, and then I'm going to colour that black. That's going to tie it in from this point of view. Then I'm going to move the tool rest around to here. I've got a little beading tool. It's homemade. I'll explain what it is. We're going to put a little bead here, colour that black, so it's framed there and there. All the colour will be framed. We'll hollow the middle out, and I'll put some gold leaf, and I'll show you what it looks like. So, let's switch this on. It's about 2000 RPM, that nice little chamfer. The other advantage of this is if you had accidentally come over this edge and torn the fibres, it'll hide that as well. So, Sharpie, rest your hand on the tool rest and just colour that little chamfer black. It's about 45 degrees. That one is not good. This one's better. And that makes a huge difference to the piece. That one black line. You don't want it on this surface, it would look wrong. The other thing is, if you look carefully, you'll see that is actually, the black line is a jagged black line. It's not totally flat because of the texture on the top. So that's quite nice. It breaks that line down. And again, that's going to look totally different when it's lacquered up. Just frames it nicely. You've got that jagged line there. It's not a flat line. Just frames it really nice. So, move the tool rest around to here. And I want it further over. I like to work above the stem. This wants to be on the centre line. A little bit higher there. Now then, all I want to do is put a bead around it, around about there, and then hollow it out. Yes, we'll put a bead on, then hollow it out. So, This, by the way, it was a spindle gouge, sharpened the correct way, or shall I say sweeten the wings back. I use the jig, sweep the wings back, then all I do is go up to a grinder and just push it up to the grinder, and if you look you'll see it's ground out a little hollow where the flute is. Turn it upside down, you've basically got a negative rake little bead forming tool. So we'll switch the light on. I want to leave some of that yellow. I think it'll look really nice having a bead here, a black bead, with the yellow going into the rest of the colours. That's still just a fraction too low. Now all we're going to do is just gently just push that in. So let me see. I want to make sure I get rid of the hole. So I reckon it's going to be about there. Just till you see that colour disappear, you know you'll have your bead. Just easing that up and down. Switching it off, we should have a perfect bead. Yes we do, excellent. Now that coloured black is going to look really good. But before we do that, we're going to hollow it out. So, give me a minute and I'll just set up. We'll come back and hollow it out. Just use the mate tool.